When Paul got to Jerusalem, the Christians there received him with joy. In time, the elders of the church were able to meet with him, and he reported to them how the Gentiles were turning to the Lord. Oh, they all rejoiced together at such wonderful news. In time, the elders were able to share a concern with Paul. They said, the Jewish Christians here in Jerusalem have heard a rumor that wherever you're going, you are encouraging Jews to forsake the law of God. Now we must stop this rumor. So we have a plan. 4 of our congregation, 4 men, have made a vow to God, and they must go to the temple to fulfill this vow. We want you to join these 4 men in that vow. In this way, it'll be obvious to everybody that you have not forsaken the laws of God. Well, Paul agreed to do this, and he joined the 4 men in the vow. Now, going to the temple involved 7 days. On the last day, some Jews from Ephesus saw Paul in the marketplace and noticed that he was with a Gentile Christian from Ephesus. Later that day, they saw him in the temple and assumed that the Gentile was with him. They cried out, "Here is the man who is causing the whole world to turn against us. Now he has brought a Gentile into our temple." Soon the crowd became an angry mob. They grabbed a hold of Paul and drug him out of the temple. In the streets, they started to beat him. The Roman guard saw this, and the commander sent in his soldiers to stop the fighting. When they got there, they took Paul and put chains on him, and then started to lead him away from the crowd. Well, the crowd, when they saw these Gentile soldiers were taking Paul away from them, they cried out, "Kill him! Kill him!" And they started moving in towards the soldiers. The soldiers, seeing this, literally picked Paul up and carried him out of the crowd to their barracks. When they got to the door of the barracks, Paul said to the commander, "May I speak to the crowd?" The commander was kind of surprised by this, but eventually let Paul speak to the crowd. He raised his hand, and as soon as he did, the entire crowd became quiet. He said, "I was raised with the most strict Jewish education. I became zealous for our religion. I was so dedicated that I persecuted all the followers of Jesus. I found men and women and put them into jail. I killed some of them." He then told them about going to Damascus to get more of these Christians, these followers of Jesus. But along the road, he met Jesus, who told him to go on into the city. He told how once in the city, he called upon the name of the Lord and was baptized, and how he went out in the streets and taught people that Jesus was the Messiah. The crowd listened intently as he was talking. He then told about going back to Jerusalem. He said, "Once I got back to Jerusalem, the Lord met with me again. He appeared to me and said, I am sending you to far off places, and there you will preach to the Gentiles. As soon as he said that word, Gentiles, the whole crowd became an angry mob again. They shouted out. They threw dust in the air. They took off their robes and threw them on the ground. They cried, kill him, wipe him off the face of the earth. The commander immediately pulled him into the barracks. He told the soldiers, tie him up and whip him until he answers all of our questions. As the men were preparing Paul for this beating, he said to them, is it legal to beat a Roman citizen without a fair trial? Roman citizen. They went and told the commander what Paul had said. The commander came out and said, are you a citizen of Rome? He said, I was born a citizen of Rome. As soon as he said those words, the soldiers that were preparing him for a beating just moved away from him. The commander himself feared for his life because he had taken a Roman citizen, put chains on him, and commanded that he be beaten without a fair trial. Well, the story continues on in what I call a plot to kill.